Okay, let's dive in. Picture this. It's a sunny Monday afternoon, August 11th, 2025. We're in this quiet village, Chhoti Betawad, in Maharashtra, India. You know the type of place. Small, everyone kind of knows everyone else's business.
Right, sometimes a bit too well, maybe.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
this particular Monday starts out pretty normal. There's a 21-year-old college student, Suleman Rahim Khan. He's meeting a friend, a 17-year-old girl, at a local cafe. Probably just for like a quick cutting chai, something simple.
Seems totally ordinary. Happens all the time.
But then this simple meeting just twists into something absolutely horrific. Suleiman gets abducted. He's brutally beaten, um, just left for dead. And here's where it gets, well, even more tragic.
Yeah.
His own mother and sister, they try to save him, and they get attacked too.
It's just harrowing.
So our mission here in this deep dive is to really unpack all the layers of this. We want to understand the bigger picture, mob violence in India, and figure out why something so senseless could even happen. We've been digging into the details, gathering the facts, and what we found tells a grim story, but a really crucial one about the challenges these communities face.
Yeah, what's fascinating, or rather deeply disturbing here, isn't just the brutality itself. That's horrific enough. It's what the single act reveals about the currents flowing just beneath the surface of everyday life in some places. This isn't some random, isolated incident. It really isn't. It's a stark reminder of a problem that just keeps persisting.
Right.
So we need to ask, how does a casual meeting, like just talking, ignite such extreme violence? What does this tell us about the power of rumors, prejudice, and, what happens to society when people just decide to take the law into their own hands?
That's the core of it.
Yeah, we're here to try and make sense of it, connect the dots for you, and give you the insights to understand this complex issue without getting totally lost in it all.
Okay, so let's walk through that day again. Monday, August 11th, 2025. Suleman Rahim Khan, 21, farmer's son, college student, had dreams, aspirations beyond the village, like lots of young people.
Just trying to live his life.
Exactly. And the catalyst, he's meeting this 17-year-old girl. She's from a different community. They're just at a cafe. And so many other places, this wouldn't even raise an eyebrow, right? It's just normal.
Completely normal.
But not here, not on this day. Somehow, a group of men, these self-styled guardians, they hear about it.
Yeah.
And instead of just letting it be, they decide this meeting is something they need to violently stop.
They just took it upon themselves.
They did. They abducted Suleman right there from the cafe, dragged him around to different places, beat him mercilessly, and then the end point. They dumped his lifeless body outside his family's home.
Ugh, just devastating to even think about.
Imagine seeing that unfold right there. And then his mother and sister rush out trying to help, trying to save, and the mob attacks them too. It's just, the level of cruelty is staggering.
Incredible bravery on their part, met with more violence. And this brings up that key question, doesn't it? Why? Why such a savage reaction to a simple meeting? Was it really about protecting community honor, like some reports suggested? Or was it something, well, deeper, uglier, driving it?
Our research really points towards that other community angle being the spark. It seems like prejudice just twisted a normal interaction into some kind of major offense.
Which shows how fast things can escalate when those biases are already there, just waiting for a trigger. Chilling, really.
So the news spreads fast, like wildfire, through Chhoti Betawad that evening. And then, of course, it hits social media, X, other platforms, posts describing the horrible details.
Information and likely misinformation just flying around instantly.
The local police from the Jamner station, they did get involved. They filed a case pretty quickly. They used sections of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, that's India's newer criminal code that replaced the old IPC, supposedly designed for swifter justice.
Okay, so there was an official response, an investigation launched. That's something.
Yes, but here's the detail that really gives you pause. By August 13th, 2 days after the attack, there were no reported arrests. None.
Few days. In a small village.
Yeah, in a place where, like we said, everyone kind of knows what's going on. That detail really stands out.
It really does. So what does that mean? A mob acts in broad daylight, brutal violence, and slow arrests. It immediately makes you wonder, doesn't it, about local politics or community pressures influencing things, even if there's no official word on that.
Exactly. It just doesn't build confidence, does it? It feels more like hesitation than decisive action.
Right. Almost like waiting for permission or something, rather than just enforcing the law immediately.
Meanwhile, you've got Suleman's family. His father, Rahim Khan, His mother and sister injured, traumatized, just trying to process this immense grief, this horror, the scars, physical and emotional. They're going to last.
Absolutely. Imagine the trauma of watching that, trying to intervene and being attacked yourself. Powerless.
And here's where we need to zoom out a bit, because this incident, as awful as it is, it's sadly not unique. Mob violence isn't some new phenomenon in India. It's a persistent, deeply troubling issue.
Yeah, we've seen it fueled by rumors, religious tensions, caste differences, time and time again.
Things like cow vigilantism, these so-called honor killings. There's a grim history here of mobs just taking matters into their own hands.
It's not just recent history either. I remember looking at that IndieSpend report from 2019. It documented over 100 mob lynching incidents just between 2012 and 2018, many clearly linked to religious or caste prejudice.
So while we're focusing on Suleman's death in 2025, it's happening within this much larger ongoing pattern. It's crucial to see that context.
And connecting it back to Jamner, what makes this case particularly chilling is that detail we found. A 17-year-old boy reportedly involved in the attack.
A teenager.
Yeah. Which forces you to ask, what is drawing young people into this kind of extreme violence? Is it radicalization? Is it some kind of twisted peer pressure? It's a massive red flag.
It really is. If teenagers are joining mobs, the problem goes way deeper than just a few angry individuals.
Definitely. And let's circle back to that other community thing. India's diversity is incredible. It's a strength. But it can also be weaponized, can't it, when people create this us versus them narrative?
It's tragic how fast a simple meeting gets twisted into a communal crisis, all supposedly in the name of honor.
Misplaced, dangerous notions of honor.
So why? Why does this keep happening? Why do we see these grim reruns? We've identified a few key factors that seem to pop up again and again.
Yeah, there are definitely recurring themes.
One big one is social media. Instant messaging. Platforms like WhatsApp, they're designed to be fast, right? But that means rumors and just outright lies can spread faster than any facts can possibly catch up.
Exactly. One viral message, maybe about protecting community honor or some other falsehood, and suddenly you have people who might otherwise be reasonable acting like a mob. It's terrifyingly effective.
It's like a digital pitchfork mob.
That's a good way to put it. And this connects to the role of law enforcement, which you touched on earlier. In too many of these cases, the police response just seems slow. Slower than needed to actually catch the perpetrators before they scatter.
Right, whether it's lack of resources or political influence, or maybe even apathy in some cases. The delay means justice is often denied.
And that lack of immediate arrests in Jamner, it feeds right into that narrative, doesn't it? It suggests a reluctance, maybe, rather than a swift upholding of the law.
It certainly doesn't inspire confidence.
Not at all.
Yeah.
And then there are the underlying attitudes in society itself, let's be honest. When a young man meeting someone for coffee is seen as some kind of existential threat to culture, we have a fundamental problem.
It's absurd. It's 2025. The idea that who you talk to could be a death sentence, it feels medieval.
Completely medieval. It points to deep-seated prejudices that haven't been addressed.
And we have to remember the human cost. Suleman wasn't just a news headline. He was a person, a son, a brother, a student with a future, all just gone.
And his family's loss is just immeasurable. The trauma for his mother and sister being injured while trying to save him, that stays forever.
Can you even imagine living in that village afterwards, knowing your neighbors could do that? It shatters the whole idea of community.
It absolutely does. It breeds fear, mistrust, and every time a story like this breaks, it's not just reporting a tragedy. It feels like a warning sign flashing brighter each time. It fuels division.
It gives ammunition to those who want that division.
Precisely. So the big question then becomes, what can actually be done? How do we break this cycle?
Our research pointed to a few critical areas.
Yeah, several things stand out. First, law enforcement has to be effective. Swift arrests, transparent investigations, that's non-negotiable.
If the police can't track down a mob in a small village, that signals a major accountability problem.
Absolutely. Second, we need to tackle the rumor mill head on. Community leaders, schools, even the social media platforms themselves, they all have a role in promoting tolerance and basic fact-checking.
Maybe we need a campaign like, think before you mob.
Has a certain ring to it, actually. Emphasizes that individual responsibility.
And education is huge, right? Teaching young people to see beyond these lines, caste, religion, community.
Crucial, preventing the next generation from falling into the same traps. And local leaders need to step up. No playing politics when community trust is crumbling. They need to foster dialogue, not exploit divisions.
Yeah, and ultimately, Maybe it's about us as a society taking a really hard look in the mirror.
Definitely. Why are we sometimes so quick to judge, to divide, to attack? We need to find ways to channel that energy into building bridges, not walls.
So this deep dive into Suleman Rahim Khan's death, it's just such a powerful reminder. Mob violence isn't abstract. It's human stories with devastating, lasting impacts. It's a tragedy that just didn't need to happen. Plain and simple.
And it forces us to ask, right, here we are in 2025. How much longer do we let a cup of coffee become a death sentence? How long do we tolerate this kind of senseless brutality fueled by prejudice and rumors?
We've laid out the facts, the patterns.
But the crucial part now is committing all of us to building a society where dialogue actually wins out over division, where compassion overcomes chaos.
So let's demand that justice. Let's push for understanding. And maybe, just maybe, let's question the sheer absurdity of fighting over who gets to talk to whom.
It really is on all of us to make sure the next story out of Chhoti Betawad or anywhere is about healing and progress, not another grim repeat.
So think about it. What stands out most to you about this story? What piece of this will you carry forward?